This is things I wish I had known before I started playing tabletop RPGs. It's a pretty personal list. I was watching a video, it was regarding something else, things that someone had wished that they had known, and it got me thinking, what do I wish I had known before I started playing tabletop RPGs? So here's a list. It's just 10 things. They're almost sort of random. They're not in any kind of order. And they're just things that were important to me, but maybe you'll find them useful. I have no idea. So the first thing that I wish I had known is that there were going to be rule lawyers. The reason I wish I had known this is because when I first leapt into playing tabletop RPGs and stuff, I really got the impression it was really loosey-goosey, just make rules up as you go, play however you want. And then I started encountering people that really had a problem with that. I mean, dragons, a white dragon had to be exactly a specific way with exactly this number of hit dice and, this kind of armor class and had to have this kind of personality. Orcs were a certain way, kobolds were a certain way, goblins were a certain way. I found they were very inflexible players. And I wish I'd known that when I'd got into it, because I wasted a lot of time before I learned just to ask them not to come and play in my game, because this is not really how I like to play. So the second thing is being a DM is a lot of work. And this is something I didn't realize. Now, when I got into playing D&D, one of the things, and not just D&D, but any tabletop RPGs like what do you call it? Traveler, Rollmaster, or whatever. Lots of games back here. You can see them. I was into all kinds. Still am into all kinds of stuff. So the thing that I didn't realize when I first started was how much work it was going to be, how much of a commitment it was. I would literally spend 2-3 days. I had lots of time on my hands. That's the way it was when I got started. Everybody had time on their hands. Sadly, it's not really like that anymore. But anyway, I would spend the equivalent of 2-3 days getting ready for a game, getting everything all set up, and that was sort of a minimum. Sometimes I'd spend a lot longer than that. But we played basically every week, when I first got started. So what I'd wish I'd known was that just how much work it was to get into it. And one of the things that got me really playing tabletop RPGs was it was an excuse to draw. I had been drawing my entire life. I loved drawing, and I was kind of running out of stuff to draw. I was drawing superheroes, but you can only draw men in their underwear for so long before it kind of gets kind of lame. So I was getting kind of sick of that. So I started making, being a DM, and that allowed me to make maps and do all kinds of stuff, draw all kinds of art for games. And that was a big driving force for me when I first got into it. So yeah, that's what I wish I'd known. I wish I'd known how much work it was going to be. So the other thing I wish I had known was just how mad people could get over a game. Holy crap, can people get mad? I thought it was a game, right? What am I supposed to think? But the thing is that it is, for some people, it's really an emotional deal. It's a big deal. I didn't really know that, and I didn't really respect that in the beginning. I've learned to respect that since, but you can't even see my hands here. But I did learn that, and I do respect it now. I understand some people can get really mad, and I understand they put a lot of investment in their characters, and that makes sense to me, that they could get very upset. But as a DM, you sometimes have a little bit of distance from that, and I wish I had been more cognitive of that when I first got going. The other thing I learned that I wish I had known was that not everybody can get along. And sometimes you really just have to pick and choose who can be in your game. Now, ultimately, as the DM, GM, whatever you like for a tabletop RPG, whatever the game is, doesn't have to be a D&D, could be anything that you're playing, Morkborg, for example. Really like that game. So it could be something like that. And really, it's up to you to choose who's going to be at the table. And you have to be really careful about who can get along and who can't. Because there are some people, I've had some big issues with players. I wish I had known that right in the beginning, because I would have been more careful about who I selected to play with. I'm actually pretty careful now. So, the other thing I wish I had known is always, no matter how, whatever you might think it is, silly, a bad mistake, a bad idea, impossible even. Like, what the hell? Right? I'm going to jump up and touch the moon kind of idea. Well, that's a little ridiculous. But, almost that. You basically have to always give players a chance. And when I first started, I didn't really understand that. And so I would often just say, yeah, there's no way you can do that. I mean, how are you going to jump up and touch the moon? Holy crap. And then going back to my other thing where people can get really mad. Well, if you tell them that there's something that they really can't do, they'll get really upset. And now there's this whole culture about rolling a 20-sided die means basically you can balance the Empire State Building on your nose if you want because you rolled a 20. Whatever, it is what it is. If that's what people like, it's what they like. But I wish that I had been more aware of that when I started playing and just let people have a chance to do whatever the hell it is that they want. I mean, why not, right? Just give them a difficulty level. Let them add a bonus from a stat or a skill or something. They have to hit that target number, whatever the system is, 20-sided, 100 percentile, 2d6, whatever it is. Just give them a chance. I mean, what the hell? And, and that was a thing I always thought that I had to, in the beginning. Now I'm going back here. I'm going back. I don't even know if I should say how far back I'm going, but I'm going way back here to when I first started. Now, I don't, I've learned all these things. These are things I've learned since. But, anyway, all right. I don't know what I'm saying here. I completely lost my train of thought. I do have notes written down there. Right here, notes, but, I thought of something and it's gone. So, all right. So the other thing I wish I had known or understood better was that the DM has perfect information. And this does go back to what I was just talking about. So as a DM, you can look at what a player is doing and think, oh man, that's silly. That'll never work, right? But the thing is you can think that because you have perfect information. You know exactly what's going on. You know what's behind the doors. You know what the odds are. You know what the chances are, etc., etc. You know what I mean? So you can look at what a player is about to do and you can think, wow, that's really crazy. Now, the thing is I prefer to play OSR stuff where if players attack certain monsters, they're going to get wiped out. It's really a bad idea. You could literally wander into a dragon or something. It'll be very low level, and there's no way you even have a chance to defend that. So the newer games sort of avoid that with challenge ratings and that sort of thing. So the game is very anesthetized, I guess you might say, very safe. They've turned D&D into a safe place. Sorry, it's funny. But they really have, right? Like, you can really charge around being a complete moron, and you're probably going to be okay. Whereas in my games with the OSR stuff, I'm saying this, but it's with a caveat, and that's that, if you just really blatantly do something silly, you're gonna get tapped for it. All right. But now that all being said about the DM having perfect information, something I wish I had known in the beginning, which made the whole game so much more fun for me, and I think for my players, is just that the less information the DM has, the more fun it is for them, and the more fun I think it is for the players. And so what I mean by that is improvisation, using random tables, not necessarily knowing what the outcomes are. And that's a thing where, I don't really like challenge ratings, because if you set it all up and you go through that much care, it kind of takes the fun away, in my opinion, from the job of the DM or the GM. Because I really like to see, I used to really enjoy setting up scenarios where I didn't think the players had a chance. And they would 9 times out of 10 surprise me and pull something amazing off. And that was a lot of fun for me. I think it was a lot of fun for the players. The game was a big challenge. And that was something that I had to learn. I had to learn it slowly over being a game master for so many years. The other thing I wish I had known when I first started, and it took me a while to learn it, was to not be afraid to call a game for the night. Because sometimes, I need a lot of preparation. I like to draw. I like to set things up. I like to write them out. I like to have everything. I'm not very much of an improv guy. I do, like I say, going back to my last point, I do like to improv, but I like to do it in a certain way, and I can get into that in another video sometime, but I do like to have a lot of preparation done. So sometimes I can get into a situation where all of my preparations have sort of run out, or I'm getting kind of burned out. So this is a thing that happens to me sometimes, and I just have to call a game. I just have to, look, guys, I'm really sorry. I've just... I need some more time to set up. I'm getting really burned out. I need to call the game, and I'll do that. And, sometimes when you're in the heat of playing or whatever, you'll feel like you're going to let the players down if you do that. At least I've felt that way. And what I've come to realize and learn, over time is that actually a bad game lets them down worse. And for my game style, the way I play, if I'm not... if I don't have a certain amount of preparation done, then that's exactly how the game is going to end up. The game's going to end up in a let's pretend soup kind of thing. Like, personally, I don't think anybody improvises a game very well. I know lots of people think they do, and if you do, hey, my hat's off to you. I haven't been in a game like that, honestly. Most games where the DM or the GM hasn't prepared anything, and I've played in them, it's been, all of them have been a complete disaster, to tell you the truth. And now I just usually, if I encounter a DM or a GM that doesn't prepare for a game, I just leave, because I know I'm not really going to enjoy it, because it all of a sudden it seems more like a bunch of kids playing in sandbox. Let's pretend. There's nothing structured set up. It just doesn't feel right to me. Now, that's my own personal opinion. If you like playing that way, if you're good at it, hey, more power to you. That's just my opinion. And by the way, this is not school, so you don't have to think my opinion matters or parrot it or whatever. There's no test at the end of this. It's just my opinion, man, so chill out. All right, so the other thing that I wish I had known was minis. I love playing with minis, but there is... you have to be really careful, and I in particular have to be really careful because I'm very good at strategy games, and I don't want to turn my game into a chess game. And if I set all the pieces out and I start, and the players are there and I start looking at, now again, I've got perfect information, they don't. I know how powerful the monsters are, everything else. They don't. If I start viewing it as a chessboard, they don't have a chance. I have to let the monsters and the creatures on the table make mistakes. They have to make tactical mistakes. I have to look at their intelligence, and I have to ascertain, okay, a group of goblins are not going to be, they're going to be tactical, but they're going to be tactical in a certain way. They're not going to be intelligently tactical. They're going to be in a goblin way tactical, if that makes any sense. I can go into that more in another video. But, basically I have to look at the intelligence of the creatures, and then I have to play them according to that. Not according to how I play, chess, say, for example, or something, or Tobruk or something like that. I have to play according to what the monsters are capable of. And when I do that, the game's a lot more fun. And the monsters make mistakes. The monsters do stupid things sometimes. Because, let's face it, stupid monsters do stupid things, right? Anyway, that was a thing that I really wish I had known in the very beginning. And I had to learn it over time. So the other thing that I wish I had known, this is very personal to me. So again, this won't be on the test, so you don't have to worry, and you can disagree with me if you want. That's fine. Is that I definitely am a little ADHD, and I've since found out that I'm a little bit on the spectrum. A very high functioning. It's not really noticeable, at least, but now I notice it. So one thing I wish I had known is that D&D, right, would turn into an obsession for me. And I know now, and it's pretty, late in my life when I'm starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, the reason that I have so many books, and just give me a second here. So one of the reasons I have so many books, and I have notebooks and more notebooks and I have piles upstairs, and all of these books, right, have rules in them, right? System rules. They all have system rules. I just wrote out a new system just yesterday that I'm planning on working on now. And I've never been able to figure out why do I keep doing this? And games. I've been making dice games lately, and all these different kind of games that I've just got. Each one of these books has at least 5 games written out in them. The ideas, the rules and stuff are written out for them. And I've published 2 of them, I think. And, they were just PDFs just for patrons. And I did basically 2 games, and they were just rough. I never play tested them or anything. But they were concepts, and I just am constantly playing around with mechanics and stuff like that. Now, what I wish I'd known in the beginning is it really, and I'm just saying this because some of you might be sort of in this, and if you're on the spectrum, that is to say, if you're a little bit Asperger's or a little bit autistic, right? Which I found out that I am through a family member that got diagnosed, and then they looked at me and went, yeah. So they started telling me about it, and I started looking at more and more. Now, I know I'm ADHD, all right, but I didn't know, and I knew I was. My best friend was always saying, hey, Steve, I think you are Asperger's, and I was like, yeah, okay, maybe, why not? I don't know. But yeah, definitely. So what I wish I knew is that I would sort of obsess over rules. And the reason I'm obsessing over the rules is to systematize them, which is a thing that you do if you're on the spectrum. You get into that. And the more I look at, I go back and I look at players I've known in the years, and I look at videos and stuff, I realize there's a lot of people out there that are getting, and the thing is, if you don't know about it, it's kind of a trap. And I feel like I've been kind of trapped in it, which is one of the reasons I haven't made any videos in a while, is because I'm feeling kind of trapped. So yeah, and that's going to go into, if you've made it this far into the video, hey, thank you. I know there's like probably 2 or 3 people watching right now. But anyway, I'm just going to say that I am probably going to be starting to focus on another YouTube channel, or maybe even a couple more YouTube channels, going away from this. But I'm still going to maintain this one. And I'm still going to post on here. And as you may notice, this post is a little bit different than my old post. I'm still going to work on games. I can't help it, I really enjoy doing that. But I'm going to start making them just for myself. And you're going to start seeing that. And I'm not going to be, trying to figure out how to put it on Kickstarter or publish it or anything like that, which I've always been trying to do. And I don't know. It just, I'm effing sick of it, basically, is what I'm saying. But I still enjoy the hobby, and I still enjoy making stuff. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, that's my video. And I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching right to the end if you did. And if you didn't, I hope you enjoyed it up to the point where you did watch it. All right, take care, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. And there will be a next video. I'm not abandoning the channel. I'm just going to, go do some other stuff other than obsessing over rules and try to systematize everything all the time. Or if I do, it's just going to be more of a hobby kind of a thing than trying to, I don't know what I was trying to do. Who the hell knows? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.